What is my purpose? What am I here to do? What is your purpose? What are you here to do? Why did God make us? And what does God want us to do? This is something I struggled with for a long time to try and understand. And I, as someone who genuinely wanted to do the right thing, sought what it is that I should be doing. A lot of people told me very useless, very unhelpful ideas of what our purpose is. And through my own searching, I had came to realizations and understanding of what it is we're all here for, better than I could ever get an answer from anyone else. And I'd like to share that with you today. I'd like to tell you what it is that I believe our purposes are. When I was young, I was heavily religious, and I was told constantly, you're supposed to do God's will. You're supposed to do what you are meant to do. Hard getting a straight answer on that one, especially from religious practices when it is just to follow God's commandments, right? Well, there's much more practical answers to that, and also, I think, very logical answers to what it is. Because you want to do what's right, maybe. You want to do what you would be best at, or to be congruent with the universe and reality. I have found there are two purposes that we all have. What we have as humanity, our macro purpose, and what we have as individuals, our micro purpose. So let's start with the macro purpose. This one is very, I think, actually simple. It is so simple, but it's so simple that it becomes subtle and easy to gloss over. But it's self-evident. So you have a reality you exist in, a creation, or an emergent phenomenon of consciousness, which is reality, right? This reality was created, let's say, by a God who is all-knowing, all-powerful, all-present. This God, he is everything. He is the all. By definition, if he was not everything, right? Every little part, he wouldn't be all-powerful and all-knowing. Because of this, if he didn't know everything and create everything, he wouldn't be the one source. He wouldn't be the final all, and wouldn't have total control over everything. If there was a competing force or another source, then there could be conflict. There could be uncertainty in reality. Things wouldn't always operate by standard systems because of those two competing forces, right? So since God is everything, there is nothing else. There is no other things besides God. That means that God, the creator, whatever you want to call this force, has only one interest, and it can only have one interest because there's no other option, and that is himself, right? Because God is everything, there's nothing else to pay attention to. So therefore, God, his primary interest is himself and understanding himself. From understanding himself as a whole, a complete part, and breaking himself down into individual parts, smaller parts, trillions and trillions of iterations of themselves, breaking up all of reality down all the way to atoms, subatomic particles, etc. These are all things that are God experiencing himself to fully understand and appreciate himself in every form, good and bad. The macro purpose is consciousness, total awareness, to experience everything in its fullest. And you are a part of that. You are a segment, a small piece, a very tiny part that is connected to the whole, being a part of God. This logical conclusion, this progression, infers your purpose is to seek and to be truth, to be in alignment with truth, to be your part of the truth. You are here to become more conscious. Humans have a special place in the universe because while everything is important, we have expanded consciousness, not like an animal who's aware of only their base needs and functions. We can look out beyond ourselves and explore. We can learn about things that may not even be related to us, how the universe operates, physics, psychology, biology, anthropology, you name it. Our purpose as a species is to grow in truth and in consciousness and to expand in consciousness. You as a human should be expanding your mind and experiencing more of life to the fullest, not trying to just be one small little thing that stays at a steady state of never growing or never learning. It is your job, your purpose, to always be learning and growing and experiencing. That is a very powerful idea, that if you can ingrain that into your subconscious, it'll shift you to more in alignment with truth, always growing, and you will have massive benefit because of that. That alone will put you on a correct path. If what you do is seek truth, it's hard to go wrong, right? And that's great. But what does it do for you as an individual, right? You have an individual part to play. You have things that you have to do in your little place in the symphony, your moves in the dance, right? It's all for a bigger purpose of understanding reality, truth, consciousness. Now, for you as an individual, your micro purpose, this is also very powerful. You have to infer, or you have to, through logical conclusion, figure out what your micro purpose is, right? What is you as an individual, fill in the blank what your name is, are supposed to do. Now, a good hint at what this is with great power comes great responsibility. This would be your little idea of where to start. Now, if you want to look at this from a simple perspective, a dog is equipped with certain skills, certain abilities, certain traits. Those skills, abilities, and traits would be the indicator as to what the dog is supposed to do. The physical characteristics it's equipped with, that it's supposed to eat certain foods, that it's supposed to live in a certain social group, a pack, and that it is, here to breed a certain amount of offspring, etc., etc. these things can indicate what the dog should be doing with its life. So with you as an individual, your physical traits can kind of point you into what your, you know, overall purposes are. You know, you are going to have to work to feed yourself, to clothe yourself, to shelter yourself, and you are also a form of a pack animal. You can speak, you can communicate, you can have social networks. You're supposed to do things in a group effort, right? You're supposed to be part of a pack and help the pack. Humanity, right? Now, we're not just constrained to a small group. We have the conscious ability to be able to affect large groups. It's my neighbor going to work today. Anyway. We can do things that can affect large amounts of people, right? Our thoughts, our ideas, me speaking to you here right now, more than just, a couple hundred people in my life, but, helping. So anyway, how do you know what your specific micro purpose is within this group or within your body, etc., who you are in humanity? You could say, if you have an individual set of skills or abilities that are better than everyone else, most of us have some things we tend to be better at than others. That is a very big clue on what your individual purpose is. If you have knowledge, or if you have the ability to see things, to understand certain things, and you can see like how something should be done better than the majority of other people, and you know that if you were to endeavor on something specific to you, let's say it's some type of business, some type of art, some type of leadership position, or performing some type of trade, right? And you do it better than other people, you can do it better than other people, you have a responsibility to do that thing. That thing you could serve others with. You could do your part. That should be the thing that is your purpose, right? Not to do it would be underserving others, to underserve yourself, and underserve the bigger purposes of allowing truth to be explored. The more efficient you can make things for everyone else, you can allow us all to get to the bigger picture truths and understand, have the time, have the resources to focus on the bigger things. For example, myself, one of the things I'm very good at is I understand construction very well. I know it far better than many, many people. I go to many places and I see many jobs where people perform some type of trade or some type of, construction skill, and they do a bad job at it. I could do it better. I know I could do it better. I can do it for a fair price. I can do it faster, and I can make people happy and provide, a product that performs better over time. Now, in doing that, I make things easier on everyone else. I make it so that they save money, they save time, they don't have to redo the project. I can make projects happen that most other people can't. Because of this, I'm fulfilling a purpose much better than others. And now, that may not always be my purpose. As I progress and become better at this one thing and others, I may have a wider responsibility to take on. These YouTube videos, I've spent a lot of time studying and reading and trying to learn about life. And to not share my experiences would be a shortcoming. because I think that I can help people and I can show them things that would make their lives better, especially with these videos. If they reach a lot of people, it could really shift a lot of people's consciousness so that they can align better with truth. Your micro purpose is to find the things that you are very good at more than other people, and they will have things that they're better at than you are. You should do the things that you perform really well at, and they should do the things they perform very well at, and you will both benefit for it. Everyone will benefit for it. This is your micro purpose. Now, it can also progress, as I was saying. And over time, as you become more aware, more conscious, more capable, a higher level, that responsibility can grow, or that power can grow, and you will take on more things. And it should be ever expanding. This would have been very helpful for me to understand this when I was very young. It would have quickened, it would have made it faster for me to figure out what it is that I should be spending my time on. But, you know, I explored and I learned this slowly. I couldn't get a good answer out of books or religious teachers, etc., or just people would say, just do what you're passionate about. Just do whatever. I mean, do whatever, you like, which can be, that's like the softest, weakest advice there is. Or do what is needed. Don't try to follow your passion. Follow, what makes money or whatever is a thing that provides, which is, it's still a advice and it can be helpful, but it doesn't get you to the point of pairing what it is you are good at, which shows, a responsibility you have, because everything that you are good at, there are tens of thousands of other people who cannot do it, and you have a responsibility to do it to improve. All right, it's a good video for today. Thank you guys. Have a good one.